Peace, Patreon. This is Fleur Boone coming to you after a long hiatus. Hey everyone. I thought I'd come in tonight. I'm sorry I've been gone for a while. A lot has happened and I wanted to kind of touch base. I should be back indefinitely, but I know many people were kind of looking to see where I was, and I know many people were worried. So I just want to say I'm well now. So, and I wanted to make sure that I kind of touch base on each level. So big up to Patreon. I know that no one's expecting this video right now, at least on Patreon. So I kind of want to touch base here. It's been a while. And last you spoke to me, we did a timeline jump and it was madness and crazy. And I had a really, there was an accident. So I had to be gone for a while, and not of my own doing, but things happen, especially when you jump timelines. And I actually, you know, went through a little bit of trauma, but I'm back. So all is well now. I'm feeling better. And I kind of just want to touch base because, again, it's like, you know, it was like a missing, everyone was looking for me in so many different ways and I couldn't respond to everyone's email. So I wanted to kind of touch base with my Patreon crew and then actually touch base with my Fleur Boone Cypher. So all is well now. Again, I was involved in an accident. And yes, I did lose my little ones. You know, I had 2 little ones and I actually lost them. So it took me a little time to come back, a little grieving as a mommy. And I decided I was ready about now. It's a little late tonight. I just figured I had time. I put things away. I had a moment and I'm home now. So I had a moment to just relax a little bit and kind of touch base. So I hope everyone's well, but I just wanted to say I'm well, I'm fine. And again, much is to be expected. And when you do a timeline jump, needless to say. And, you know, I think we just had the full moon in Virgo, a super moon in Virgo, which is a really powerful moon over here in Florida. Our moon looked like a diamond shape, so it was interesting. And I remember going outside for the first time in a while and just looking at the moon and just amazement because my moon actually had a rainbow around it. I actually tried to share the picture today in this venue, but it didn't actually come up. It actually deleted the video. I thought that was interesting as well. But again, so I'm back. I am well. A little bit of trauma. Again, there was an accident and I ended up, you know, again, you know, having little ones that didn't make it with me. So if you didn't see me for a while, just needed a little bit of time to kind of get myself together. Okay. And I'm very grateful that at least I'm here to actually talk to you again. So, and I didn't want to make it seem like I was just out here, you know, dropping it like it's hot, because I could be doing that too, but it was a little more serious than that. But I'm just going to keep you updated, and there's so much, even in the crux of everything. There was a lot of things going on in the background. I mean, I have pictures of reptilians, people shape-shifting. You know, we have to talk about the timeline jump, because inevitably the timeline jump, what it did is it propelled all of us, not just myself. You know, in this timeline, I am a different type of person. And I think I did that in the last video, and I never really finished on the timeline jump, but even in the timeline jump, my handwriting changed. I write differently. I remember I have different memories in this timeline, which is interesting because they kind of came up during this time. A lot of different people are showing up or disappearing. So at the same, and in this timeline, obviously, you know, I wasn't having any children in this one, extra children in this one, rather, let me say. So I find it to be really different. The colors are different in this timeline. What else? Even choices in my closet. I mean, we're going to have to get into that. And again, as I settle in, I'm going to be back on the show on Aquarius Rising Thursday, kicking it off with Mr. Corey, some big reveals. We'll do that Thursday. I'm probably going to touch base with Cypher Crew And I have a lot of shares for Patreon, a lot of things that I won't do publicly. And I'm going to be a little less public necessarily on YouTube for a bit, because I think a lot of the residuals from YouTube, especially being out in the wild west of things, kind of came to a culmination with me, you know. So I think I'm going to be a little more mindful of sharing too much via YouTube. It's hard for me not to share because that's just what I do. But this time I'll be a little more mindful of how I share things. But I have a lot of interesting pictures, a lot of reveals, talking about 5G. Hi, love, peace. I can't really see. Aw, I missed you too. I know it was tough. I was away. I didn't realize how long I was out of the mix. You know, I thought I was, I don't know, roughly, I didn't know I was gone for almost 3 weeks. And I saw the messages coming and piling up, and it was, you know, it was hard because I couldn't really, at the time, I didn't really want to talk for a minute. I just had to kind of transmute the energies. But then eventually, you know, like I said, I'm grateful I'm well, and I'm grateful I'm okay. But, you know, it took me a minute. You know, I am resilient, but some things knock you, you know, like I used to say, I think, I'm not sure if it was my mother who used to say it, but pain, what is it? Pain sharpens my sword. Yeah, so went through a little bit of a dark night. I wish I could read. My eyes have become, let me see if I could read this. I'm sorry. My eyesight has not, obviously it has not returned. I want to read the comment. Hold on for a minute. Mind you, it's a shame I can't read. It's really a shame my eyesight, anyway, you know, I was preggo, so at the time my eyesight. Oh, now I can read it. I figured you needed some time for yourself. Thank you, Jelly Bean. And I'm glad I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm resilient. It takes me time just to kind of get over big things. You know, again, there was an accident, so, and I lost, well, my little one's transition. I had 2 of them, so it just took a while for me to adjust to that. So that in itself took me a minute to kind of like bounce back. I could bounce back, but you know, when it comes to the little ones, I'm just much more emotionally invested or protective of them. So, but I'm well now. So, what was I saying? But again, we have to take in consideration, and that's why I state this to say I'm sorry. You know, I came to you when I was a little sleepy too, because I figured I was resting and everything. Hey, love. Oh, thank you. I just, what was I saying? The jumping of the timelines also changes dynamics in your life. So where remember, I chose to do that. So there are aspects that come in with jumping timelines, and some of the most magnificent things, it's so amazing that the most magnificent changes happened during this timeline jump. But there was a tragedy in the mix. So it is, remember, the universe is always balanced. There can't always be a high without a you know, another level of low, because high and low, left and right, you know, as above, so below, as within, so without. You know, it's a constant balancing. So if you jump a timeline, and I take it, and you know, I'm grateful that my awareness is heightened. So during a transition or something happening, I can see it from an angle that's a little more spiritually sound. Let's just say that. So if I'm getting really bouts of magnanimous things in ways that are profound, there has to be a balancing out of that as well. And that's what I experienced. So in and of itself, it is still amazing. It is. So, but I wanted to touch base. So I'm going to kind of touch base with you first. And like I said, there's quite a few things I mean, during this little hiatus, there were quite a few things that happened. I mean, just things that are just, if I could share with you, and I will, and again, I'm going to be a little more cautious sharing things publicly so much with YouTube, because again, I think there was a backlash. Eventually it happens with sharing too much, because, you know, There's some diabolical ones, and they make sure if they can't get you one way, they'll get you another way. But I'm definitely going to share, because there were so many things profound. I mean, when I say profound, I'm talking about what do you call it? Like supernatural things that were happening inside my home that were visual and provable and happened at the same time. I was getting messages from the other side. It was madness in itself, because it was so, I mean, that's why I say it was so amazing. But at the same time, you're like, this is how it comes. You know, it comes with not just one bout of something, it comes with a bout of a whole bunch of things. So, you know, I got a message from the other side via cookie. I gotta show you. So, you know, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an amazing run. And also I wanted to make sure I came back, because just like I took a picture of the moon and I tried to share it on Patreon today, which I'm going to do it again. I'm going to upload it again. It disappeared. And it's interesting because I did that earlier. And that's kind of what propelled me to come on and just talk to you, because it kind of pissed me off a little bit. Like, wow, I've been going this long and they're still trying to hide the truth. But I took a picture of the super moon in Virgo, which was this past weekend. And it was the shape of a diamond in the sky with an X and the rainbow. It is amazing. It's I don't think anyone has ever seen it this way, and I actually videotaped it outside. So I wanted to share that with you. And also, we're on the precipice of the event. As you know, the event happened last year. I think it was the 18th or the 8th. I guess I have to go back in the archives. Remember, I was traveling during that time when the event happened. But when I saw the rainbow around the moon, I was like, oh my gosh, it's back. It's back. So it's going to be interesting to see how it shows up. So I'm not going to stay too long. I'm actually going to go into Cypher and kind of touch base with everyone and let them know everything's okay. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm actually going to be on, I think, YouTube tomorrow. But again, I'm doing my show on Thursday. Mr. Corey is going to come and premiere. There's quite a few people who want to be on the show Thursday, but Mr. Corey wants to come in for a big bang on the show, and it'll kind of lift my spirits a little bit. We were chatting today about the show and bringing up some great reveals. So we'll do the show on Thursday. So you guys will be on Thursday. And I think I want to talk, there's so much about the 5G, what it really is, the fear that's coming from a technology that's actually quite ancient, that's required at a time when our planet is at a specific rotational position, where the moon itself is in an inverted position when it's in a quarter moon, which it looks like a smile over the Giza pyramids. I was looking at it with someone else. It was one of the other YouTubers who had mentioned it to me, and I went and actually looked and verified it, and she was absolutely correct. The crescent moon, which was ordinarily, crescent moon was on top like this, on top of the Giza, if you're measuring it from that point. But now it's like this, it's a smiling face, which also denotes a particular placement that's required alongside of some technologies that's also needed to bring back the others and to open up the huge portals necessary during this particular shift. So we'll get into that, the 5G. I think a lot of people are fearful of it. But what they don't realize is this technology has always been here and it's being utilized in a different way, but that's required for something bigger. And of course the diabolical ones utilize it, but it really isn't for just them. It's for the others as well. So we'll kind of get into that conversation on 5G. We'll get into this whole concept of Gucci. I think Gucci, I have a lot to talk about that. There's so much. There's a couple of things going on, a lot of different people being arrested at this time. I think R. Kelly also was arrested. Was he arraigned or arrested? Which is, you know, a testament of us being in a different timeline. That's also interesting. What else? There's so much. There's so much. So anyway, I did, as you know, it was very cathartic to write down things that became, you know, something that came in my form of awareness, you know, my level of, you know, my my awareness, something that came in my awareness, I would write it down so I didn't forget about it. And I kept logging things that I noticed, but there was much more supernatural. I mean, Fleur Brown, I've seen a lot of things, family. Listen to me. I've witnessed more things than the average person can handle. More things that I think even people in the metaphysical community could handle. But what I witnessed over these last couple of weeks are so supernatural and beyond my comprehension at that time. It will blow your mind. It will. And some of the things are provable. Okay, so we'll get into that conversation. So we'll have a lot to catch up on. Okay, so again, Fleur Brown's well. You know, I took a little hiatus. You know, it took me a while this time it took me a while to bounce back a little bit. And also, you know, I experienced a little bit of the dark soul kind of clearing during this process. And again, everything that occurs is in your level, and it's within your realm of culpability, or rather, it is what you can handle. And things that seem as if they're trauma are actually just or catalysts to awaken you even more, especially if you're on the precipice of things that are about to happen. So we'll get into that conversation. So I'm going to leave you on this note. Thank you for being so supportive and patient with me. Many of you, I know I was getting the emails and the texts and the beautiful well wishes, and a lot of you are in the ether looking for me, and I could see you and I could feel you energetically, and I'm really grateful to have that kind of support. So I'm thankful. I did require it this time, and you know my antage is I will only come to you when my cup is full or overflowing, and my cup is now full. Not quite overflowing, but it was necessary for me to come and kind of touch base and make sure everyone knew I was okay. You know, I'm still on the planet. So anyway, family, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to kind of touch base with my Cypher crew. We'll catch up. And actually, I'm going to make it a point to share some other things. I'm going to share some other wonderful... Oh, so much. I'm going to share a lot. And I have to make it a point to, like I said, I wrote everything down, but it was so much that it has to be talked about. I mean, it's going to blow your mind. Anyway, so I hope you have a masterful evening for some of you. Some of this is morning for you if you're in Australia. It's the wee morning for you. For others, it's early evening. And for us in the Northeast, it is, oh, well, south of the Northeast, the East, it is evening. So thank you for listening to this little comeback rant. And again, I'm well and grateful for it. And let's get back to where we were. All right. I love you, family. Have a wonderful evening. Peace. Peace.